Hey everybody, Sive Morten is here with the Forex.com. Finally today let's take a look at the Bitcoin market as we usually do on Thursday. But first, just brief announcement of the new fundamental report that we have prepared. I will put link below to the description to this video. You also could find it in our blog section. This particular, it's calling is waiting for better times. I could show you this on the website. So here we just take some view on the recent hot footsteps after the Genius Act has been taken, and trying to analyze what's actually the purpose of this act. That discussion we started last time, which we prepared for July, but now we already have some results, and it's clearly might be seeing some tendencies that's now is happening, is moving in the United States with this topic of the stable coins. Why it is so important for the United States government, and based on this we have made some conclusions and forecasts for the Bitcoin as for the short term as for the long term. So if you're interested with that, interested with this topic, some fundamental background for Bitcoin, so welcome, you could read it. It's not really a big report, relatively light to read. So now let's take a look at the short-term technical picture. Starting from the weekly chart, for now we could acknowledge that it seems that Bitcoin behaves more or less well around the support area that we have specified. Not occasionally we said that an area between around 105 area, 110, 108, this will be vital for Bitcoin in the short term, in the nearest time, because downside breakout will open road down to the 80 lows. So while market stands above it, it keeps chances on upward continuation. Here's some hopes for the crypto investors appears. That's, as you can see, because market is start forming kind of the widening pennant pattern, some tight consolidation, which is actually significantly better than possible downside continuation. If market will stay inside of it, that will be great. So despite that it's widening, it's more difficult to deal with it, because widening consolidations doesn't give you the timing. So it's difficult to suggest the timing when what particular moment the situation might change when we're trying to get out of it. But at least the fact that it's tight, it brings some hopes that maybe market just building an energy for a possible upward continuation. At the same time, based on the fundamental picture that we actually discussed in the fundamental report as well, I'm a bit skeptic that Bitcoin will show any significant rally in the nearest couple of weeks in September, just because of big borrowings from the United States Treasury. So they need lots of debt to issue in the nearest 2 weeks, and also they need to fill its account with the Fed. So that leads to the drain of liquidity on the market. As you know, the reverse repo is already empty. Now this liquidity will go out of the bank's reserves, which makes a direct impact on the liquidity on the markets. With these circumstances, it really high chances that Bitcoin will have the power to jump. More probable that in the recent 2 weeks it will stay in some consolidation. Yes, maybe we will not get the collapse at the best, but hardly will get straightforward upward acceleration as well. So that's our conclusion on the Bitcoin here. On the lower time frame, let's take a look what we have on the daily chart. Our nearest target has been completed. If you remember last time we said that prepared for taking out of this low, more probable that market will try to reach 108.40 area, and we called to not set two deep standing targets, because based on this double top, its target stands around 102. We said hold your horses, better to focus on the nearest time, because the nearest target, because this is rather strong confidence support here, as you can see, 105.50, 108.30. It's natural strong support resistance area, so more probable that Bitcoin just will stuck inside of it, and that has happened. Because you understand, if it will get dropped down to the 1 or 2 or even lower, now in this case we will have to consider different target, different patterns. Might be already smelling like this big head and shoulders, which is a actual continuation to the 80 even. That's what I said in the beginning. But for now, since market trying to stay above this area, showing some pullbacks, probably it's too early to speak about it. Going further on the full time frame chart, it's just to show you the target as we've got here, as we mentioned previously. Now what we're gonna do next, here on the 2-hour chart, I'm using 2-hour just because it is well, a bit narrow and show you the whole picture that I need. So with this performance, this butterfly hits this target. So with this performance, it's definitely not the reversal. This is more reaction on a very strong support area. That's why I wouldn't call it as a bullish reversal. That's why before taking the long position, I prefer to see the market actually return back to the 118, 119 top, taking out of this top once again, maybe appearing of the hand and shoulders here. So if market returned back up, in this case, we could start talking about the hand shoulders, and that will be something that could let us and could justify actually any strategies, any plans for possible taking long position. Until this not happened, overall context remains bullish. Currently, the most probable that market will reach this level, 114, 114.70. This is confidence resistance. It's difficult to say whether it makes sense to take short here or not because we do not know what reaction will be. But that's potentially the area where market could start dropping once again and trying to challenge the bottom that already stands here. So maybe it will try to reach one even area. Because as I said, problems with liquidity, they still stand on the market. And currently hardly possible that we'll get any acceleration. From that standpoint, so you're taking it all together, I would keep an eye on this level, and once market will reach it, start searching and looking for possible bearish patterns on very small time frames, on 15-minute chart maybe. If I'll get something like this, that's probably might be interesting to get short position with a very small near standing targets around 108. That's the approximate plan that we have. If somehow, as I said, market will break it up and return back here, then probably we could start thinking about the bullish positions again. But for now, I suppose that's not time yet. So that's all probably. Let's see how situation will develop, and see you on Monday.